This is literally the city you wish you had. Built by Bill Silverlight, it features an amazing downtown, a realistic industrial harbor, a giant airport complex, beautiful canals, and much more for us to explore. Before diving into the beauties the city has to offer, let's first take a quick look at the infrastructure that makes the city work. The city is producing a total of 2 gigawatts of electricity, exporting the excess of 600 megawatts, most of it coming from the nuclear power plant as well as a hydroelectric dam right here. All the essential services, healthcare, water, garbage management, fire, police, and parks look quite well. Just education is a bit strained, especially for elementary and high schools. And for all the services, some of these outskirts don't really have good coverage. Taking a look at public transport, there are a total of 34 lines, which for 200,000 population is quite good. 3 of them are passenger aircraft lines, which all go to the outside to bring in people. Then there are shipping routes for cargo as well as for pedestrians, with multiple connections at multiple points. This island here mostly has underground subway stations. 2 different lines can be seen here. The ticket prices for those are free, so it's really encouraged. And that also leads to insanely good traffic, especially in the downtown areas. We have some red parts. This here is from the cargo harbor, probably something one could fix. But we can really see that it's busy and people are exporting and importing things. And then here it's red, but there's not really too much traffic. So this free public transport is really doing great. Also, tourists like the city. 37,000 tourists a month, that's a lot. And that's why there's also a bunch of hotels which can house all these tourists. Now let's dive into the city. I think there's so many things where one can take inspiration from. Let's start from the tip here of the downtown as if we were arriving by ship and move towards the end of it. First, of course, we have this giant tower here, which is connected with some parks, even some walkable area that's being used, and some nicely arranged vegetation. This really looks great and it reminds me that I need to do this more often. Then we have this amazing seafront promenade with some sport opportunities, and further down a harbor. And you might think, well, there aren't harbors in the game, but it's just done with some walkways on bridges. Sadly, there are no boat props or small boat props in the game, but already just these quays make it look so nice. Really cool build, and if we take a look at it from far, it really gives the city so much personality. We have it here, we have it over there, and with these giant boats driving around, transporting passengers, it looks really amazing. I think overall the city is quite livable. I mean, we have this island right here with just some sport opportunities and walkways. Sadly, not many people are using it, apart from these homeless camps. That's something I think Paradox should fix in their simulation, that people will just go for a walk in like nice areas instead of just going to work and going back home. That would make these areas way more busy and I guess also more realistic. Continuing further along the coast, of course, we have here this terminal where passengers arrive. This is really busy. And this amazing Ferris wheel in a park. I think it's amazingly integrated with all these trees again and another private harbor. And then we already come to, I think, one of the most unique parts I've ever seen in a city, which is kind of these Amsterdam-style islands. By the way, these are pedestrian paths. That's why you don't really see cars driving around here. We have this church integrated with all these placed bushes here. It really looks like a royal garden. And then there's the statue back there, so you have an amazing view. And on the other side, a museum right here and this like parking tower in the background. What a nice area, and I'm sure this was a ton of work, especially also this pond here. Water physics in the game are really painful. Oh, and look at this nice intersection here. This might be one of the most realistic intersections I've ever seen. So we have these pedestrian islands for pedestrians to cross. Then there's even vegetation on it. We have the central bank here with bus stops, and those even have their own dedicated bus and taxi lane. This really looks like an amazing place to be and just so realistic. This intersection alone must have been a ton of work. And then, not even going much further, we have another crazy intersection, which actually brings the road underground to go to the highway. So this here, what we see, is the highway exit and entrance, kind of like a turbine interchange, but it looks just so nice. there are really some unique ideas here. So we can already see greenery is a focus in the city, not only concrete. And we have a lot more of it right here. Of course, there's a parking lot. Every city needs that. And it's well placed across from the train station. But look at this nice area here, the seafront with some parks. I really love the use of the pedestrian streets right here, even though cars are driving there. But you can imagine tons of people walking here, enjoying the view, enjoying some fresh air coming from the sea and probably the mountains, enjoying a day in nature. Even the bridge looks really nice. I think this is also the bridge with the favorite design for me that's in the game. It just looks so modern. And then we have sports parks on this side, and it just continues on going. Another canal crossing through. Pedestrians can cross over here. Then there's the sports stadium. I think this is a server farm. Yeah. And then it just continues going on with green. There's a welfare office because why not? Then a botanical garden because you don't have enough nature yet. Another sports park, more basketball places, a skate park, and just so much greenery. How is it with this much greenery that there's 220,000 people living here? I'm usually just building grids and crazy dense cities. This really looks nice. And then building canals and all these nice quay walls, you get a city that looks like this. I really much feel like it looks like the city from the City Skylines 2 trailer. Don't you think it looks similar? With an overview of this main island and an appreciation of these crazy intersections right here. Let's hop over, check out some other islands. So we have this one here with the clinic and some cemeteries, a bit of housing and a giant highway crossing through here. Over to another city, as well as this amazing airport facility. I really love how it looks. It somehow has symmetry. There's a bunch of parking lots, and one of them is the passenger terminal and one is the cargo plane terminal. I love this use of airports. Basically, it looks like one airport with 2 takeoff and landing places. So basically an airport of a major city. Then this is the tower. Of course, it's just a special building that even gives indoor recreation and tourists, but it really looks like it fits the airport. Great use of it. And there are some businesses around, some tram terminals, and just some urban sprawl. I think this is my favorite airport build that I've seen so far. Usually people are just using like the international airport right here, which is crazy big and it also looks nice. But this is custom one, and it also makes sense to have cargo and passengers in different terminals. Next, if we go on from it, of course, the downtown, and then we have some farming area with some custom trees as well. I'm not really sure yet how I like the way this works in City Skylines 2 with all these farms randomly being built on it. I like the system in City Skylines 1 way more, where you could have an industry area and then place these buildings yourself. I mean, it's like with schools, you can build like extensions. Why don't you have the same system for like industry, that you can just build extensions in it, so you can actually build something nice? Because this will always look cluttered, and like these are giant buildings, right, with tractors. Why are there no streets to it? To me, the system doesn't make sense. Let me know if you see any benefits from it, but I think all these special industry area buildings could really be improved. In the mountains, we have more of it. We have custom mining of ores and stones. Then we can take a view over the city. We have tons of rivers crossing across here. And then of course, we're back here to this giant intersection mess. Or maybe I don't want to call it mess because it looks very interesting and I'm sure it's functional to some degree. I mean, there's no traffic jams on it. On my intersections, there are always traffic jams, so I don't think I can judge it. Then all the way back there, we have the nuclear power plant, more empty space, and then this harbor. I really appreciate how all these quay walls were built. They take a lot of effort with soil terraforming. And in vanilla, it's really a pain if you don't have anarchy. There's a prison on this island just behind this dam. So if the dam breaks, all the prisoners are gone. And then there's one last island right here, some low density housing and a spaceport right next to it. Maybe not the safest choice, but the spaceport is pretty good because it brings tons of benefits: attractiveness, education, office demand, so on. That was a very short city tour. I really loved the city and I wanted to share it with you. Maybe you can take some inspiration from it. I surely did, especially from these canals and quay walls. Let me know what you liked most of it. You can check out the link in the description with the creator of it. Since you're still here, consider subscribing. Thank you for watching and happy gaming.